funny story, and it didn't become funny until a couple of years back, until I went back thinking about it. Back when I was in second grade, I used to play baseball for the Blue Ridge Sports Association. Now, of course, the Sports Association isn't sanctioned by the school; it's just a local baseball league thing, and so the school doesn't have any effect on it. So things that aren't really allowed in school games are kind of allowed at sports association games. And we had this coach who used to come and coach us once in a while, and he had a he would dip snuff all the time, and every game he would always come with his tin of snuff, and he had like a big tin that he kept with himself, all the time. And whenever he would get tired of one wad of snuff, he would take it out and throw it away, and he'd put in another big ass wad of snuff, like he would stuff it into the side of his mouth. And like this was a big wad of snuff, and like his cheek would always be like puffed out like this, like that, like all day long. Like it was wacky looking,
Do it again.
Yeah, he would always have like this gigantic ball of snuff, like stuffed in the side of his face, like all day long. And I was a catcher. Of course, I was a terrible catcher because my sight, it was just awful. I would sit in one position for the whole game, and the balls would just hit me in the face mask or like in the chest and just like bounce off of me. Like I would just sit there like, and a ball would come out of nowhere and just rocket at my face and bounce off my face mask, and I wouldn't even attempt to catch it.
You know why? I was a catcher too. You know why?
Why?
Because we were the fat kids. And we were either going to be outfield or catcher.
Yeah,
that's all we were good for.
Because like we were wide enough to where the balls wouldn't fly over the fence or like go too far. They would hit us and then they would just stop right there. Every once in a while, I got lucky and one would be intercepted right in my mitt.
Yeah.
I would just be like, "Oh shit!"
Yes.
Yeah. I caught a ball, but I never made any attempt to catch it because you're right. Being a fat kid, everything looked funny, and we were self-conscious at that point. But anyway, back to the story. This coach, he had just this giant, baseball-sized wad of tobacco in his mouth all the time. Well, being catcher and the stands being right behind the catcher, I could hear the things that the parents were saying and stuff behind me, And I don't remember the coach's name, but I remember he was standing off to the sidelines one day, and I heard this one woman say to another woman, she said, "I think it is so good that they let that man with the tumor on the side of his face coach these kids." And it wasn't a tumor. It was just a big-ass wad of tobacco. And these women, they were like... I'm so glad they let that man with that big old tumor coach these kids.
Okay, so back in sophomore year, I don't know what grade that is, 10th grade. Every day after football practice, me and being the fat kids, we didn't want to run the next day for the locker room being dirty, so me and him would be the ones to clean the locker room. So every day we cleaned the locker room, and one day we found this mysterious yellow puddle in the middle of the floor. So we went and told the coaches. The coaches walked in there, and then they cleaned it up. Well, the next day we were all getting ready for football practice, which was the head coach at the time.
Yeah.
Said, "Everybody get in the gym." So we listened. We all went to the gym, and he lined us against the wall. And he was walking up and down the gym saying, "All right, boys, we've had a good season. We're doing great this year. Everything's going great. We are Blue Ridge Tiger Athletics and proud." And I would, hey, you know what? Can we all give a hand to Joey and for cleaning our locker room every day after football practice to keep us from running? No, serious guys, I'm ready. Just give them a hand. Everybody started clapping. Felt so great.
Yeah.
And he stopped. He said, "Tell them what you found on the floor yesterday, son." Okay, you can say anything you want and you're not going to get in trouble. Piss. Piss! There was piss on the locker room floor! Who did it? Every single one of you's gonna run if I don't find out who did it. Okay, this little fat Mexican kid raises his hand. Said, I did it. And he said, why the hell would you piss on the floor? He said, me and this guy were having a peeing contest. Who could be could pee the farthest away from the urinal? So we all had to run the next day. But I skipped.